fastest man in the world is Usain Bolt, clocking in at just under 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour in the 100-meter sprint. I have painful shin splints after squatting 200 kilograms in 6 months and then running a half marathon with zero training. So like, if I train for 30 days, how fast will I be compared to Usain Bolt? The plan was simple. I decided that I was going to run every single day for 30 days to out-train my shin splints and be able to sprint at top speed. I had longer hair back then. I only really started having half a plan on day 2. It was simple. Spend the first 7 days on gentle foundation building and rehab so that I don't immediately get shin splints and cry. The first small issue I noticed was a slight pain or tension in my right knee, but it was minimal, so I assumed that this wasn't really important. I'm like 83 kilograms, so my leg just needed to handle the weight of my fat arse. The first breakthrough I really had was on day 5, where I got a haircut. But the next one was on day 7, where I started to get shin splints again, and suffered mentally from the heat wave in the UK.
Stupid ass hair.
On day 8, I forgot it was day 8, so I didn't even start phase 2 like I was supposed to. However, instead, I went on a hike to the peaks with my best friend and had a lightsaber battle.
Well, I'm a Punkrocker, yes I am.
Anything but working out. On day 9, I began phase 2. I decided to drop my runs to about 10 to 15 minutes to accommodate for the slight shin splints, and I also began introducing 3 new exercises to my mix. The first is the McGilvick 3 for core stabilization and just kind of general bodily health. The second is foam rolling my shins to reduce the pain and the inflammation on my shins after running, and also to reduce lactic acid buildup. And I also brought back my pressure point massage from my last 30-day series, where I attempted to dull the pain of my chronic shin splints as much as possible. I absolutely hated that I had shin splints again. An entire university exam season had rendered me a stone statue for the better part of a month, and having to refight this same battle again really got on my nerves. I just wanted to jump over this hurdle and start sprinting now. I was so excited. I wanted to see how fast I could go. I just wanted to see my limits. But then a wise lesson returned to me through one of my memories. First learn stand, then learn fly. Nature rule, Daniel-san, not mine. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid. His mighty words burst the bubble that my ego was suffocating me in and made me slow down a little bit. I continued phase 2 with patience, serenity, and less shin splints than I would have otherwise. On day 15, phase 3 began. I was in very high spirits. I introduced explosive exercises into my days to hopefully train my ligaments, tendons, and my muscles to be able to start taking that force again. The same sudden force that sprinting would obviously put them under. Instead of trying to find out the names of these exercises, I opted to name them myself. These are the angry steps. These are the angry steps, but I'm joyous and whimsical. And this is just the hip switch. It's just, yeah. What they were actually called were knee drives, A-skips, and hip switches. So like, at least I got the last one right. The next few days were hot. In fact, day 18 decided to hand me 30-degree weather on a silver platter.
It's warm. It's so warm.
Day 19 was a bit of a bad one. My shin splints started to act up properly now, and the hot weather combining with this made just everything unbearable. I was frustrated and warm and tired and just scared that my shin splints were going to get exponentially worse from here on out. But then, Mr. Miyagi's voice grazed my ears once again. You feel pain because you're alive, Daniel-san. That's a good thing. I continued my mobility and recovery exercises and ended up having no shin splints on day 20. This marked a wonderful and hopeful end to phase 3. With only 10 days left, I incorporated 3 main exercises into my days to be able to sprint by day 30. These were the aforementioned A-skips, but also the beam marches and wall sprint drills. Day 22 marked the bad turning point. On a leg day, I injured my glute. I tore my left cheek yesterday. Welcome back to BS Fitness. Today is day 23 of trying to sprint without shin splints. My main man, my god Jeff Nipper, told me to hump the air as I did the starfish spreading machine. So naturally, I was like, yes Jeff, yes king, I'll do whatever you say. And now, my butt is in shambles. I had to miss a day of running, and on day 23 I had a migraine the entire day. I still ran on day 23, but this was an awful start to phase 4. Day 24, however, gave me hope once again. I can't lie to you, I started off pretty sloppy, but now, with only a couple days remaining until the actual sprinting final prep starts, I am feeling great. The final day of phase 4 came on day 25. On this day, I finally tested sprinting. Not a full speed, of course, because I don't want to die, but like just to test the waters to see if my body could take it. And for the first time in as long as I can remember, I got to sprint again. Time come when man must stand up to defend what he believed. Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid Part 3. It was my time to defend my body's ability to move like lightning. Ka-chow! Oh my god. Oh, the next day I had mild shin splints, but I still felt great. I sprinted again, and I shouldn't have, because I got injured. Day 27 was awful for me. This late into the journey, days before the end, my shin splints were horrible. I poked and prodded and massaged away in agony for the whole day, and I was just like a bit distraught. When you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life. Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid Part 2. On day 28, I didn't sprint or do any explosive exercises. I simply went on a 10-minute run just to continue this momentum I had been building for the better part of a month.
Day 28. Shin splints hurt a bit today.
Day 29 was very similar. And finally, day 30 arrived. This was going to be the day where I tested how fast I can run. I was going to put maximum effort in. I was hoping to go into it shin splint free, just energized and feeling very ready. Instead, I had mild shin splints and just didn't feel confident at all. I just felt worried. But then I remembered his words. It's okay to lose to opponent, must not lose to fear. Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid Part 3. And so, I went for it anyway. I felt incredible. After taking just a few steps, this overwhelming sensation of determination and drive just washed over me. The feeling of sprinting is just incredible. I think that in that moment, I finally realized how much I had missed it. And then some random guy walked up to me and was like, "You, I want to race you now." And then we did, and I absolutely stomped him. But it was great. So random guy AJ and your buddy, thanks for that. That made that day very fun. Sometimes what heart know, head forgets. Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid Part 2. So, how did it go in the end? What speed did I get? Did I get anywhere near to Usain Bolt's level? Well, Usain Bolt's top speed is around 12.4 meters a second. On my sprint, I reached about 8.93 meters a second. You might be thinking, hey, that's not too big of a difference. Wrong. If Usain Bolt and I ran for the same amount of time, our end positions would be separated by the Mariana Trench. I was nowhere near close. However, my speed is nothing to be scoffed at. Let's put this into freedom units. I ran about 1.3 times faster than a bull, 3.5 times faster than a crocodile, and about a quarter as fast as a hurricane. I was flying, let me tell you. In the end, I still had some shin splints. Since then, I've taken a brief break from running. I still do my cardio, just not running itself at the moment. I think my shins deserve a little bit of time to heal. I knew I'd need this from the very start. I couldn't go into something like this naively. Ambition without knowledge is like boat on dry land. I am incredibly happy with how this went. I only had a brief idea of where I'd end up when I started this challenge, and I think that I exceeded even my own expectations. 8.93 meters a second. That's like a fast river or something. This challenge has taught me a very different lesson than squatting 200 kilograms in 6 months. I found that sometimes being patient and adaptive works a lot better than brute forcing my head through every single wall that I hit. Think only tree that bend in storm survive. You too rigid? Great. But now, it's on to the next thing. I don't know what it'll be yet, but I think that this is going to be a big one. If you'd like to stick around and find out what that will be, consider subscribing. There's always room for one more here, but that's where this particular journey ends. I hope that you've gone to the gym today. I hope that you've done your cardio. And, as always, I hope that you have a wonderful day. See you next time.